If you're someone suffering with shoulder pain, there's a lot of reasons why you have shoulder pain, but let's discuss very specifically if you have what's considered deltoid pain. So let me help you find your deltoid. Deltoid is a big group of muscles, and they are considered the workhorse of your shoulder. They do all the work. You know, if you're at work and you got that one coworker that's going all the time, and then you got the ones that are like a little bit more lazy, is if they see someone else working, they're gonna get lazier. So the deltoid is the workhorse muscle group of your shoulder. They do all the work. So what happens is the more work that they do, some of the other muscles start to get lazier and lazier, and they don't do as much. So this is the deltoid. It's a really big group of muscles. There's 3 parts to it. You have your anterior, your middle, and then your posterior, right? And if you take it from the head, you slide it all the way down, you're gonna feel like this little nub, right? And that is where the insertion part is of that muscle, right? So it's a really huge group. It allows you to lift up your arms. It allows you to bring your arm forward. It allows you to bring it back. So they work together with other muscles. If you have deltoid pain, if you slide your finger down like this and you rub like that and that hurts, like, yeah, you have deltoid pain. That sometimes when people, when I work with people that have rotator cuff issues, they have had rotator cuff tears, rotator cuff surgeries, you know, anything like that. The deltoid will do all the heavy lifting. So every time you lift, the deltoid is overworking because some of the other muscles of the shoulder now are no longer working as much as it should. And so the deltoid can become really painful because it's always tight and it's always working really hard. The other thing is, if you look at your deltoid as compared, right, you might feel like one side is like bigger, it feels hot, it feels swollen. That is your deltoid overworking because some of your other muscles are not working, you know, nearly as hard. And most of the time it's your rotator cuff muscles not working as hard. So you tend to lose a balance in your shoulder of like some muscles working to support as the shoulder blade and as the shoulder moves, right? The hardest thing for people to stop doing is they go like this. So they are like, oh, let me lift it up and roll it. Let me lift it up and see if it's still hurting. Every single time you do that, you overwork your deltoid and you take it and you crush the tendons together. Not helpful. But what happens is you do it because it's a habit. Every time I see my patients do that, I yell at them. Do you want some results? Like, do you want to feel good? Then just move your shoulder blade. Like, so instead of doing this going forward, you can actually roll that shoulder blade and that whole thing back, right? It's a very simple thing. You could, you know, roll it back. But if you have deltoid pain, here are the 3 things that I'm gonna look for. I'm gonna look at how much motion you have. You want to have all of your motion. If you don't have all of your motion, could be why you keep having pain. You want to strengthen as you get more motion. So some of the things that you do to get more motion, then you want to do some things to strengthen, to keep the motion you're getting. But the strengthening has to be without pain. And that's where a lot of people, there's a lot of misconceptions in the world, because in terms of therapy, it shouldn't be no pain, no gain. The concept of no pain, no gain came really from like when you're working out and you're trying not to give up. So that pain of the mental pain, but you don't want the physical pain. If your muscles are burning because it's difficult to get to the 10, that's okay. But there's a difference in the muscle burning and it feels uncomfortable to any kind of sharp radiating pain. You know the difference. You have to be able to tell your therapist that how that pain is. Your therapist should also like know, like, hey, and ask you and have an understanding of what those different pains are. But number 1, get your motion. Number 2, strengthen slowly as you get more motion. And then Number 3, I want to encourage you to pay attention to what helps and pay attention to what does not help, because all of that is really important information. If you have pain coming up, your deltoid is working, and if you keep doing more of that without fixing the other parts, you're going to continue to have that pain. So that movement and that exercise is not helpful. We know that. Biceps, right? Biceps can be overworked, and it also can be very tight, which can also contribute to what we call anterior shoulder pain. So pain in the front of the shoulder. If you have pain in the back of the shoulder, then that becomes a different problem as well. Let me share with you one of my most favorite stretches. It's called the sleeper stretch. My favorite sleeper stretch, right? This stretch is really great to stretching this posterior part, the back of your shoulder. Now I know you're like, I do this all the time. That's not as helpful. And the reason why is because your shoulder blade is moving along with some other things. If you lay down into what's called the sleeper stretch, you're gonna lock down that shoulder blade, right? And you're just gonna get a little bit better of a stretch. And this should not hurt you. If it hurts you, you're not ready for this. It's as simple as that, right? So let's say you have a pillow. I'm just gonna use my towel. You're gonna lay on your back. You're gonna put your arms out so that your elbow is at your shoulder level, right? And then you're gonna just roll yourself over onto the arm. You're not sleeping there, so don't be afraid. You're like, oh, I can't sleep on that side. You're not sleeping, you're just stretching it. So you're gonna roll yourself over and you're gonna roll yourself back. You're gonna roll yourself over and you're gonna roll yourself back. That is gonna get this back part, and it's really a really nice stretch for that back part of your deltoid. And it stretches that shoulder joint right in here. It does a really great job. The key, most important thing I tell all my patients is, if you go into that position and you have pain that is pinching, that's in the front, that is no go for you. That is not good. So I always tell my patients, if you feel that pinching, that pain in the front, then this is not the stretch for you right now. You can come back to it later on, but if that happens, it means the two bones are hitting into each other, and that is no good, right? So if you try that stretch and you have pain here, this is not where you start, right? So this is the sleeper stretch. Part 2 of the sleeper stretch is you're gonna bend your elbow to 90 degrees, and then you're going to bring your hand back to the mat or to your bed, right? Or you can keep that 90 degree, and you're gonna bring your hand to your belly, not to the bed, but to your belly, so that you can keep that 90 degree stretch. This stretch right here, you should feel it real deep inside the joint. Like you can't put your finger on it. It feels deep. It feels real achy, like it's in the back of your jaw. If you feel that, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as it's not painful, and you should be able to tolerate it. You have control over how much motion you have, right? So if you're lacking motion going this way, if you're lacking motion going this way, we're gonna go into the direction that feels the best for you. If you do something that feels the best for you, you're moving into ease, and that just makes it easier for you to do the stretch and do the exercise. That's just a Huang, methodology of treating, right? So I like this position. And what you want to do is, if you're tight in this position, your body's going to naturally roll off, right? So you're going to hold this position and you're going to roll your body over it. You're going to roll your body over it. And that's a sleeper stretch. If you like this position and your arm cannot touch, don't compare yourself to me. I have tons of motion, right? So if you're like here and you can roll yourself over, back off of it and forward, you might be amazed at how much motion you do get right? So try out the stretch. It's called the sleeper stretch, and it does amazing to stretch out this capsule. It's called like your joint of your shoulder. It does a really great job of stretching it out, and if you can stretch it out, you will have less deltoid pain because you're going to go and get better motion. Now, if you want to do some of the strengthening, there's some videos I've made in the past on like rotator cuff strengthening, and go check those videos out. If you have any, like I said, go back through this video. If you have that pinching pain, okay, this is not the video for you. This is not the movement for you. I believe that there's a certain order in which to do things so that you can get your results fast, versus like doing it hard and then like setting yourself back and not getting the results you're hoping for. Best result is to go find yourself a trusted therapist, occupational therapist, physical therapist, someone who specializes in hand and arm injuries that can really help you. If you have any questions, definitely leave me a comment below and I'll make more videos like this for you.